welcome to Would I Lie to You? The show that says if it looks like a lie and sounds like a lie, then it's probably true. On David Mitchell's team tonight, he's the comedian's comedian and the hairdresser's nightmare. It's Paul Foot. And the star of Getting On, where she plays a nurse whose jobs include bathing old people and emptying their bedpans. Forgive me if I don't shake hands. It's Joe Brand. And on Lee Mack's team tonight, a survival expert who can kill, skin and gut a rabbit in seconds. That's the last time I take him to a petting zoo. It's Ray Mears. And a stand-up comedian who, until a few years ago, used to live with her nan. Must have been a bit awkward for her to bring young men home, what with her granddaughter being there all the time. It's Roisin Conaty. And so we begin with round one, Home Truths, where our panellists each read out a statement from the card in front of them. Now, to make things harder, they've never seen the card before, they've no idea what they'll be faced with, and it's up to the opposing team to sort the fact from the fiction, and Joe is first up tonight.
Right. Once on Christmas Day, I was forced to hitchhike my way home and was picked up by 4 different drivers.
Please do.
Where were you going from and to?
I was going from London down to Hastings.
How old are you?
I was about 17 and a half.
And because nothing was running on Christmas Day, or you were skint?
No, what happened was I was meant to go home on Christmas Eve, but I missed the last train.
So you started your journey in London?
I did.
And how long did it take to get picked up? For the first bit?
Not long, actually, 10 minutes-ish.
And he said...
Would you like to come back and have Christmas lunch with me? I'm very lonely.
Seriously, he said that?
Yeah.
What sort of a man was he?
He was a gay man in his mid-70s.
How far did you go with him? No. I mean, how far on your journey did you go?
I think he drove me about 10 miles, something like that.
So that's the first person.
Yeah.
And then, do you remember the second one?
A woman.
Yes.
Who picked me up round about the Eltham area, I think.
I like a euphemism early on in the show. We've all been picked up in the Eltham area, haven't we?
Actually, you're more accurate than you realise. She actually did make a pass at me.
This is 2 now?
Well, she said, "Where do you want to go?" And I said, "Down to the coast, please."
Oh, my God. Did she go down to the coast?
Well, what she actually did was she put her arm round my neck and tried to kiss me.
She did. What had led her to believe that this was a possibility? What had happened?
The mistletoe on the wing mirror.
Yeah, she tried to kiss me. I opened the door and got out of the car and ran away.
Ah, so
yeah.
that explains the second story. Right,
Okay.
now get to the third one.
The third guy was deaf.
I'll tell you what, if this turns out to be a lie, you deserve a medal for making this as least plausible as possible en route to the story. But, OK, so he's deaf.
Yeah.
Right.
And so I had to write down where I wanted to go.
And you said Hastings on the card?
Yeah.
What did he say?
He didn't say anything. He just started driving.
Oh, my
That's a bit
God.
menacing, isn't it?
He didn't look scary.
And who was the fourth?
The fourth was a farmer. He said that he was fed up with his family, so he took me all the way to Hastings.
So he's having a bad day on Christmas Day and decides he'd rather drive you to Hastings.
Well, he said that he told his wife he was going out for a paper. That's the end, really, because he dropped me off where I was going.
Did you invite the man in for a mince pie or something? You know?
No.
You didn't even invite him in?
No. Do you think that's a bit weird? I don't.
I think it's the weirdest bit of the story. He's given you a lift all the way to Hastings on Christmas Day. He's the only one who hasn't made a sexual pass at you. He's been entirely honourable. Just give him a little bit of a mince pie and some brandy butter.
So what do you think? There's a lot of detail in there.
I think it's not true.
Based on...
I think it's got too many characters, like a Tarantino film.
The bit I'm doubting is that wouldn't you just write on a piece of paper, Hastings, and hope someone's going to Hastings, rather than anyone going sort of that way, and I'll just keep getting out and getting out?
Have you ever hitchhiked? You sound very idealistic about it all. Well, I'm not getting in a car until I'm going to Hastings. I don't care what day of the year it is. Hastings, no.
Paul does have a point. That's not how it works. You just go a little bit, and then maybe... And that's part of the fun of hitchhiking. It's who you meet.
Don't try and pretend to me you've ever hitchhiked. I know you well enough. Getting at the back of a Mercedes once a week is not hitchhiking.
I've seen it in films, though.
So Ray thinks it's true.
It's got to be true.
OK.
Too wacky to be made up.
So you think they're too wacky to be made up, you think they're too wacky to be true?
Yeah, I think she enjoyed making them up.
So what's it going to be, then, Lee?
OK, well, we'll say... be it on your head, Ray, but we'll say it's the truth.
Saying it's the truth. OK, Joe Brand. Truth or lie?
It is true.
Yeah, it was true. Joe did have to hitchhike home on Christmas Day and was picked up by 4 different drivers. Paul, you're next. Oh, dear.
I am absolutely repulsed by beards. When my friend grew a beard, I changed my phone number so he couldn't contact me.
Right, there we are. Lee.
What's his name?
His name is Ben.
Ben. And what did Ben do?
Well, he used to be a child. Then when he got older, he was a tree surgeon.
Right. So, what is it about beards that you find so repulsive?
Well, it's just... like the idea of touching a beard is horrible, and it can't be hygienic. I mean, there must be dirt in it.
Well, look to your left. I think you'd have to go a long way to find a better, more respectfully kept beard than David Mitchell's.
But David Mitchell can afford to have a beard cleaning person. The average beard person, they don't even wash it, do they? It's all dirty, bits of egg in there and all sorts.
You would obviously never consider a beard yourself, then, obviously.
Oh, no,
But on a windy day, surely those bits of hair around the side of your head are going to go over your face, because that's quite long hair you've got there.
But they're all lovely and soft.
Well...
Whereas when a beard is all scratchy and thick hair.
I imagine David's beard isn't scratchy. I imagine David's beard is comforting, soft and welcoming. And I invite you now to enjoy David's beard.
I mean, strictly speaking, it's not your invitation to give.
But you would be doing a great service to Paul.
No,
I would be a troubled
I would
young
be
man.
honoured were Paul
please.
to fondle my face.
Paul, knock yourself out.
Leave it to me to invite him.
Well,
Go ahead if it would give you pleasure.
it does not give me pleasure. That's the whole point. I hate it. But, you know...
Oh, he's doing it. He's doing it. He's doing...
If this is going to make you throw up, we can both do without that footage on YouTube.
Did you tell your friend why you changed your number?
No, well, what happened is... He used to have a smooth face, and then he grew... And it was a massive beard, and it was all really long and really unkempt, you know, like all long, and then I just couldn't deal with it.
And you've never seen or heard from him since?
Well, I can't, because he hasn't got my number. He can't contact me.
When was this, Paul? How long ago?
2010.
That's sorry, I think you say years.
2010, years after the birth of Christ. Is that...
I mean, you picked a good example. If you saw an image of Jesus Christ, would you have problems looking at it because of the beard? Or does it have to be a friend that's in your personal space?
I mean, Jesus isn't my friend in that way.
He is, Paul.
Yes.
And he's yours, too. But not yours, Lee. All right, so what's it going to be, Lee? Is it true or is it a lie?
What do we think?
True. Absolutely. Every word of it.
It's a lie. It's got to be a lie.
You've done the opposite again. OK, so you're saying it's a lie, you're saying it's true. I'm going to go for true.
You're going to say it's true?
Yeah.
OK, Paul Foote, was that true or was it a lie?
It is true.
Oh. Yes, it's true. Paul is repulsed by beards and did change his phone number rather than tell a friend he didn't like his beard. Ray, your turn.
What have we got here? To hone my tracking skills, I used to secretly follow joggers in the woods.
David.
Which woods?
That was in South London back then.
The woods of South London. So,
It could have been lots of places.
what you're
actually.
saying is a park. You followed joggers in the
Yes,
park.
I've jogged through the woods in South London.
I've never followed your tracks, Jim.
No, well, I only jog at 0.03 miles an hour, so I'd be following you.
What does tracking involve? Can you tell me?
Yeah, you're following the marks and disturbances that animals or people or anything leaves as it moves along.
So what is the evidence of a recent jogger?
It can vary. So, for example, if it depends what the jogger's wearing.
Probably running shoes.
But they might have, for example, shorts on or long trousers.
Right, here's a question. Imagine they've got shorts on. What would they leave?
Well, then they would avoid maybe stinging nettles and brambles as they're running.
Whereas
this
the ones with
makes sense.
tracksuit bottoms on are just going right through the bushes.
And you might even find fibres left on brambles as the person passes by that enable you to determine the colour of the garments that they're wearing.
All right.
Can I ask you a question? Have you thought of getting a PlayStation?
No.
Just check.
So you could find, if they're wearing trousers and are therefore crashing through the nettles and brambles, you can find fibres. And if it's wet, you can see footprints.
Mm-hmm. This is true.
What if they're not wearing trousers and it isn't wet? What,
If they're not
how do you
wearing
track them then?
trousers, they're probably not a jogger.
Basic rule, trousers jogger, no trousers dogger. That's how I remember it. Very basic system. You've got to have a system for these things.
So when you're arriving at the woods, long after the joggers have gone, what do you look for first as the start of the trail?
A muddy puddle, something like that,
Right.
where there's a clear footprint. But then you try to establish maybe the height of the person that you're running. Their personality even shows.
Their personality?
Their personality shows. In
What,
whether
like
they've
things
got-
like, they like jogging?
Whether they're... yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No,
That's what you can learn, isn't it?
Whether they're listening, to music or...
How can you tell if they're listening to music?
you can get a different thing in, in the
Can you
trail.
tell what they're listening to from the rhythm of their footprints? You go, oh, this jogger's listening to samba music.
I've died to know
I can't yet determine what sort of music they're listening to.
No, but how do you listen to music at all?
People move differently.
Rubbish.
Seriously,
What
Nonsense. So, David, what are you going to say? Is it the truth?
What do you think, Joe?
Well, I think it's plausible.
It's certainly a very complete story. What do you think?
I think he does do it.
Well, we think it's true
I
then.
think it's true.
Yeah.
OK. Ray Mears, were you telling the truth or were you telling a lie?
It's a truth.
Yes, it's true. Ray did used to secretly follow joggers in the woods to hone his tracking skills. Our next round is called This Is My, where we bring on a mystery guest who has a close connection to one of our panellists. This week, each of David's team will claim it's them that has the genuine connection to the guest, and it's up to Lee's team to spot who's telling the truth. So please welcome this week's special guest, Andy. So, Joe Brand, what is Andy to you?
Sandy, and he once helped me break into an ex-boyfriend's house through the dog flap so I could steal all his pants.
Right. Paul, how do you know Andy?
This is Andy. He is a great believer in telekinesis, and together we conduct experiments to try and move objects with the power of our minds.
OK. And finally, David, what's your relationship with Andy?
This is Andy. I once accidentally nudged him into a fountain whilst trying to take a photo of a tank.
Well, there we are. Joe's fellow pants pincher, Paul's psychic sidekick, or David's fountain friend. Lee, where do you want to start?
Joe. Mm-hmm. Just talk us through the incident again.
Well, I was probably about 18-ish, something like that.
Yeah.
And
You just got in
Andy-
from a long hitch, had you?
Yeah. And Andy was a friend of mine, and I was going out with this bloke who was a millionaire. We went to a party next door to his house. He ended up snogging someone else at this party.
All right. Who did he snog?
A woman with blonde hair. I can't remember her name.
Roisin.
So I was quite cross, and I just wanted to do something to make my feelings.
And you decided to go through the dog flap?
Yeah.
What kind of dog did he have?
A St Bernard. No. No, he had a fat Scotty dog.
Like a Highland Terrier?
Yeah.
They're tiny.
I know, but I was thin at the time, so I used to be thin when I was
might
a
have been
teenager.
thick, but you weren't, like, 1 foot high. Terriers are like big
I didn't
cats.
walk straight through. I wriggled through it. Like yeah.
What was Andy's part in this?
Andy's part in it was that he helped push me through from the garden.
See, not as easy
side.
now, is it? You needed a friend to get you through that time.
Well, a bit, yeah. And he kept watch in case
Case what?
the neighbours noticed.
Yeah, best way to stop anyone noticing someone going for a dog flat is to have someone stood up next to him.
Yeah, a complete stranger standing next to the door's a bit suspicious.
Well,
When you got in the house, what did you do?
went to his bedroom,
Yeah.
got all his pants out of the drawer and all his pants out of the washing basket, threw them out into the garden, and then we went and chucked them in a bin and then went to the pub or something.
Why the pants? If he's a millionaire, why didn't you take... What, if you were going to break in and risk getting arrested, why didn't you steal something or break something or write on, like, a painting?
Because a bit of me wanted to do something that he would think was a bit weird and
Did he ever
possibly
find-
not know it was me.
Did he ever find out?
I never saw him again.
So you don't know to this day
Probably
if he
blamed
ever...
the dog.
Who knows now?
He knows now, yeah.
Well, hopefully he's dead, so he doesn't. Joke, everyone.
The good thing is, Joe, as long as you've moved on... Blimey.
Right, who else would you like to quiz?
OK, Paul, so you believe that it's possible to move an object with the power of thought?
Yeah, it's not just possible, we've done it.
What things have you moved?
We moved a vase.
You moved the vase? Right. How far did the vase move?
About half an inch.
Right.
About.
How many times have you done this, Paul?
We've moved things about 3 or 4 times.
What other things have you moved?
We moved a crisp packet.
Well, they do... Was the window open, by any chance?
No, it was full, and there was no wind. There's no way that could have moved. It turned.
It turned. How do you know it just didn't move on its own, without telekinesis?
Because if you put a crisp packet in conditions with no wind, it won't just turn.
It could go on its own if it was walkers.
It's got air in it.
Just saying. Or skips.
Oh, skips it.
Can you move fruit?
Oh, hello.
But, you know, I couldn't... It would take some time. It takes... And it doesn't work in this kind of environment with sceptical people watching and everyone all just sort of judging. It
Is
involves...
it better with gullible people? You've moved a vase, a crisp packet.
Yeah.
You said there were 2 others. What are they?
A remote control.
A remote control. Remote control, and what was the
A
last?
cushion.
Have you ever visually seen anything move, or have you closed your eyes, opened them, and it's moved?
Yeah, we've always closed our eyes.
Yeah.
And...
Do you know what? I think I know what's going on.
No, but neither of us moved. We were both at opposite ends.
No, I know. I'm not doubting you, Paul. I'm just saying your friend Andy might be a bit of a charlatan.
What about David?
Where did this happen, then? Come on, tell us all.
It happened at a military museum in France.
Military museum in France. He's taken a photograph of a tank.
Which
And-
military museum in France? Good question.
It was called the Musée des Blindés.
Well,
And
what does that mean in English?
I think it means there's a museum of armour.
Right. He knows I can't argue with him. Say anything.
Whereabouts in France?
I think it's quite near... It's sort of in the middle-ish on the left.
Now you're talking my language.
And what were you doing there?
I was looking round the museum.
Museums, tank museums.
Yeah.
Do you do this often?
Well, we were... Me and I've got a wife now.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm surprised...
It's definitely a lie.
To be honest, I'm surprised that's never come up on the card. You'd never have believed it.
So this is quite recently?
It's, last summer.
Last summer, you said, darling, it's time for you to know the truth about me.
Well,
now it's time to know the real me. Museums, France, come on!
I knew you had a microphone in our bedroom.
So, talk us through the incident with Andy and how that actually happened.
Well, outside the sort of front bit, there's like a piece of artillery and a tank. And I wanted to take a picture of the tank, as well I might, you know.
What sort of tank was it, David?
It was a German tank.
Was it?
A Tiger tank.
A Tiger tank?
Yeah.
So you've taken a photograph of your granddad's tank, and then... and how did it crop up? I want to know the actual mechanics of how he ends up.
I've not taken the picture at this point. I'm trying to get the tank in frame. I was backing away, you know, just slowly, and there was a sort of pondy, fountainy bit, which people...
A what?
A pondy, fountainy bit.
Oh, right. I genuinely thought you were speaking French again.
Yeah.
Like the pondy, fountainy bit.
Ah! And I just...
You backed into it.
I backed it, I just sort of with my elbow.
Yeah.
And, I don't know, he was obviously...
He was obviously what?
He was obviously... I don't know, I was about to say, you know, I was about to see how that sentence finished myself, Lee. But now I need another runner.
Here we go. This is what I want to know. You've backed into him. There
Yeah.
can only be two things. He's either looking at you, and for some reason beyond anything, he just thought, well, I better just stand here and be pushed into the fountain, or he's facing the fountain, in which case, why is a man facing a fountain so close? Was he weeing into the fountain?
He was standing on the rim, eating a baguette.
Oh, was he?
OK.
Was he? Was he wearing a beret? Did he have onions round his neck?
No.
How deep was the water into which he fell?
About 8 feet.
8 feet?
Not 8 feet. Not 8 feet. No, it was about a foot.
All right, we need an answer. So, Lee's team, is Andy Joe's fellow pants pincher, Paul's psychic sidekick, or David's fountain friend?
David's fountain friend.
Do you think it's David's fountain friend?
Without a doubt.
Well, please tell me at least there's a doubt.
I've never felt more confident.
Wow. Ray, are you of sound mind?
I agree. I agree. I
You
think
agree as well?
Absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, it was David.
Lee,
David.
you're not as sure?
I'm not sure it's David. Usually I would have dismissed someone pretending that they've moved a vase half-inch. There's something about Paul that makes me think, yeah, he looks like the kind of man who, in his own deluded mind, thinks he has done it. And which in itself is a truth, isn't it? If you think it's true, then it's true. But I think Joe's stories is the most likely because I've known Jo for some years and I can confirm she is bitter and twisted.
So, your two teammates say one thing, you say another. What are you going to do?
So we'll go with David's ludicrous story and say that it was David.
You're saying it's David. OK. Andy, would you please reveal your true identity?
Hi, my name's Andy, and I helped Jo steal her ex-boyfriend's pants.
Ladies and gentlemen, Andy, thank you very much. Which brings us to our final round, Quickfire Lies. And we start with... It's Lee.
A man from Brazil once taught me a very simple noise you can make that will always stop a fox in its tracks.
David's team.
Can we hear the noise?
I'll be honest with you, it's a very instinctive thing, and without a fox, I'll
be a fox. Ready?
Yeah.
Ready?
Yeah. Can you do fox not reading a book?
No. They know. They know. They know. You dumb, don't know. Ready? Ready? OK. Come on, Mr. Lee. Come on. Oh. Stop me, Mr. Lee. Stop me.
I didn't think this would give Rob an impression opportunity.
Come on, listen. Yeah, but you can see him in the producer's room. Could we change bear to fox? I can do Basil Brush. I can't do a bear.
But, they can't... Lee, they can't change what a Brazilian man once told you.
True. That is very true.
Oh, that was like something out of Poirot, wasn't it?
Did this happen in Brazil?
It was in Brazil, yes.
And what was the noise?
The noise was, I might have to take a little drink to do it properly. I can only stop a fox if I've got water.
Yeah.
Not many people know this, but the fox fears very few things.
It's true, you know.
But there is one animal...
That's my bushy tail.
There is one animal...
Come on.
That if a fox hears...
Yes.
The tone is so weird to the fox, it will scare the fox. And that beast, if I may call it a beast, is the dolphin. And the noise that you make is simply the noise of the dolphin, which I will now demonstrate. The fox comes towards you, and a simple... will stop the fox in its tracks.
OK.
Can I just ask you, why would you want to stop a fox in its tracks anyway? Foxes aren't aggressive. They don't run towards you.
Foxes are aggressive. They gnaw at our recycling box.
Well, can I just say, they don't gnaw at my recycling because I have a letterbox and this. They're off.
So was it a recycling gnawing scenario that the Brazilian man was giving you this technique in order
this
to
was
avert?
just one of those crazy drunken nights in Rio that I'll never forget sitting there. I wasn't even talking particularly to this gentleman. No. He was smoking a big fat cigar and he turned around to me and goes, you know, if there's one thing that life has taught me... this will always stop a fox in its tracks. Well, and he did that. He blew the smoke into my eyes and we slept together.
Truth or lie?
Lie.
It's a lie. OK, Lee. The suspense is killing us. Is it true?
It is, in fact, a lie.
Yes, it's a lie. Lee wasn't taught a noise that can always make a fox stop in its tracks. That noise signals time is up. It's the end of the show, and I can reveal that David's team have won by 3 points to 2. But it's not just a team game, and my individual liar of the week this week is Jo Brand.
Thank you.
Yes, Jo Brand, devious, calculating and shamelessly misleading. If she wasn't a comedian, she'd have made a hell of an accountant. Good night.